Kool-Aid here. I'm going to give you a video. I haven't given you one here in about 3 days, so I'm back. So here you go. I'm going to cover, a few different extra things today, so this may run just a touch long. But anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. This is over at the NOAA site. This is the page I was showing you guys where you can come to it and get a whole lot of information in one spot. This is that page. This is the NOAA site about its space weather. So what we're looking at, guys, is the wind speed. Okay, the solar wind speed. It's at 347 right now at about 2 a.m. Eastern time, which is where I'm at. I guess it would be technically the 27th of March right now. But why I'm bringing that up is because, first off, the CMEs did not turn out to be as strong as what they thought they were going to be. Sometimes they mess up. Okay, that's why they call it a forecast. It's a prediction. It's not. They try and they are very good at it. Now, I would tend to say that they're better at it than they let us know. So, you always got to question. You really do. That's anything that we see or do. Even when we're taking pictures for ourselves, we have to question that. We really do. We got to question all of it. And then we just try to cipher through it and, figure out what we personally want to call truth or call what we believe. So that's what we do, most of us anyway. But anyway, I'm circling that because that's pretty normal speed, okay? There's nothing real fast or slow about that. Now, something we haven't talked about a whole lot is slow solar wind speed. I'm doing some more research into that. I don't know a whole bunch about why that happens or what it can actually do or what does it cause or what causes it. So, I'm sure there's a whole lot of factors. I'm just trying to research it out and educate myself. And as soon as I'm comfortable enough to come to you guys with it, I'll come back with it. But they were seeing unprecedented lows. I've seen so many people talking about that. And I've been watching this for over a year, and I've never seen wind speeds really get that low either, at least that I remember. They were down close to 200, like 210, 220, I think, is like the lowest they got. I know that I've never seen it below 200 as long as I've been watching it. Not to say that that's never happened. Now, is that, like I said, I heard a lot of people talking, that's not a good thing either, so I don't know why. So I'm going to research that out a little bit more. But anyway, I wanted to show that to you on this one here. And then this is the KP index. Okay, this is on that same page. All right. The CMEs that were Earth-facing that blew off the sun back on the 20th and days before and days after, but the bigger one was on the 20th. Number one, it got here late, so it was probably moving slower than normal. Now, we were flatlined. What I mean by it is everything was on the bottom. We were like at a 0. We weren't even at a 1. Okay? And then, we saw it creeping up. And I personally thought it was just going to keep going up and get probably around between a 5 and a 6. If it had hit a 7, I'd have been really surprised. But, is what it is. But it didn't do that. It hung around. It did raise, so it got here. But it never got past a 4 right in here. Okay? And then, we're back to flatline, I guess, is what it looks like. Well, this is just the most recent data here. So, that could raise again. This is probably being caused by that coronal hole that was Earth-facing for a minute. That increased the speed, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, there's the KP index, and it never got anything to even talk about. I mean, so anyway, this is another part of that page here. This is where the prediction stuff comes in. Okay, this is Enlil right here, and you can see the dates. Okay, the dates are down here. All right. Now, what this bottom graph is showing is the position of the Earth right here. Okay, this is the wind speed. Okay, that graph right there is the wind speed. This part of it. Okay, you're seeing it's going to raise right around 29th. So that's a prediction that they're making. Okay, It's going to raise and then it's going to go back down, and it seems like it's going to hang out a little bit higher than normal. Okay, whatever the reasoning for that is, probably coronal holes coming around or what have you. But what I want you guys to understand is that the ion density is up here. Okay, so if you think about it, ion density has some sort of, at least a little bit of mass, as little as it can be down to the atomic level. Okay, but it still has some sort of mass. So anytime you have a bunch of that together, obviously, the thicker the density, in some level, it would actually increase its mass. So it makes sense that the wind speed would slow down when there's more mass there because it's heavier. Okay, and I've given this explanation about the bowling ball before. If you take a bowling ball that's 6 pounds, you throw it down the alley, hit the head pin, you only knock down 5 pins, right? Well, then you grab a 16-pound ball, you throw it down the alley, and hit the head pin at the same speed, and you knock down all 10 just because the mass was different, and it changed things, the way things react. So that's the reason for that analogy. But something else I'm going to point out here, guys, you got different colors here. Now, see the red here? That red one that's down here too. That's stereo A. That's actually where the satellite's at. It's telling you its conditions at the satellite position. Okay, not at Earth. That's where the satellite's at. Then the blue one here is stereo B, which we haven't gotten data. They may still be getting data from it, but they're not letting us see it. It's been like that for a couple years. Then you can go over here to this one too, and it basically gives you the same kind of information, just in a different view. Okay, so we're going to move on from that. Okay, here's the thing I want to talk about. This right here is an article that came out on the 20th. Ben over Suspicious Observer picked up on an article here too. They're talking about this now, and I talked about this a while back. Okay, and I was talking about the Gulf Stream water. Okay, well this is part of that same system, the conveyor system of the oceans, and how much it affects our weather and our global climate. Okay, there's a whole lot of things that go involved there. Okay, and there really is. But this thing is just as important as our jet streams and everything else, because it affects things globally. This isn't something that we need to turn a blind eye to. And this is what I was saying a few months back, and I did 1 or 2 videos on it, and I kind of left it alone, and nobody else had really talked about it. Now it's coming out in the forefront. People are starting to see it because it's going to start causing some issues. So, you can just Google this, and you can go right to this article here and talk about this one. But I'm just going to, give you a quick little overview here. This is the global conveyor system. Okay, this is what our ocean waters are doing. This is just a generic picture I picked off of Google. Okay, you can see the directions and all those kinds of things. Now, I was talking about a while back that, England is here. Well, I'm going to zoom in real quick so we can do this a little bit better. England's here, right? Well, Moscow is right here. Maybe a little closer over here. I'm not sure exactly. But they're basically on the same latitude line. Okay? So if you take that in consideration, if they're on the same latitude line north, theoretically, they should have very similar weather. Okay? But they don't. Okay? So why not? Well, there is an explanation for it. Okay? The explanation is the Gulf Stream water. Okay, the Gulf Stream is here. Down here. Well, let's just zoom back out a little bit. It says Gulf Stream right here. It tells you what it, you know what I'm saying? But what it is it's pulling water up here, right? And it's going over here, and then it goes up towards England, which is, where London and stuff is. And then it circles back down. It's doing one of those numbers. Well, how can that change the climate so big? Well, what it does is it changes the air temperature because the ocean temperature has changed. This is the whole reason why England doesn't get bombarded in the wintertime with snow in hard, cold winters like Moscow and Russia do. This is the reason why. Okay, so what they're talking about now is that this is the water from up in here, okay? There's ice and stuff up there, and it's starting to come through. So it does a couple things. Well, number one, it immediately makes some of the ocean waters colder. So obviously, cold and hot move at different speeds. And this is the whole purpose of this, okay? But you also have to keep in consideration that salinity, which is the salt content of the water. Okay, if you guys have ever made mixed drinks, you know that, or even like ice cream, you put salt in the ice around your container, and then you put your cream or whatever mix in and you turn it, and what it does is it makes it even colder than 32 degrees ice. It allows it to get colder. So that's why salinity is very, very important. And what this is it's changing the salinity also. So then it's going to affect all that as far as even more temperature and the way that the waters flow. The whole thing is getting jacked up is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so when these waters are releasing up here, and that's why they're talking about it now. Okay, and I was talking about this a couple months back. I was like, why aren't people talking about this? Because this Gulf Stream, at some level, has a big part in our global climate. So if this thing gets all jacked up, what's going to happen up here when all this stuff gets cold? Well, eventually, you can probably pretty much draw a line right there. It's going to get cold from there north. Extremely cold. Okay? And they talk about many ice ages and stuff like that, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but this up here is actually happening now. These articles that are coming out, this is happening now. So we can look for this to change in the very near future. Now, how fast it changes, that's up to nature and God. Okay? So I'm just bringing it to your attention. We have to keep an eye on the Gulf Stream and our global conveyor water systems. Okay? That's what's going on here. And again, I did a video a while back, and I'll try to find the exact video and put a link in there. You guys can go watch it. It was around the same time that Scott sent me the information on the polar jet splitting into two, and I did a video on that. It was right around that same area. So if you guys go back and look and check it out, there's a little bit more information there if you want to go look at that. Actually, I'm just going to go on to this next picture. I mean, that shows you globally also. That's more of a basic what it is. And you can see sinking. You see the sinking? All right. Now, like I said, I just pulled this image off of generic stuff. This isn't something that's whatever, but that actually is kind of telling you, the flow of stuff. It's sinking. That water's sinking down. So the farther down it sinks, the colder the water gets. And if more of that bottom ocean water is getting pulled to the top because the salinity's changing and the speeds, and more, water from up in here is getting added to the system, then, stuff is going to get colder, guys. It's just the basic bottom line here, unless somehow nature stops this. But, and again, I'm not trying to say this is going to happen all abrupt and such. But as soon as this Gulf Stream waters get jacked up and don't move like they're supposed to, I feel sorry for England and all these people over here, because it's going to get colder really, really quick. And yes, it will affect, most of my viewers are here in America. It will affect North America too. You can basically draw a line, and it's gonna change stuff, guys. So we have to keep an eye on that. We have to keep an eye on the polar jet streams, and then then it goes into my next thing here. Mr. MBB3 did a video. This isn't actually the article he used, but all these articles are coming out, guys. Okay? So this is from the Washington Post, and I don't normally even look at this because I'm not, I don't really get into the political stuff, and that's pretty much what the Washington Post does. It's just a very famous, news outlet. Is what it is, I mean, but this is what they're trying to say, okay? It says scientists once thought tropical cyclones were impossible in the South Atlantic, and then they just had one form, okay? For us laymen's, that means there's a hurricane in the South Atlantic that there really shouldn't be. Okay, it's off the coast of Brazil. Okay, now here's a bunch of articles that are coming out on this. Okay, this, it says right here, scientists once thought tropical cyclones were thought impossible there. And there's a lot of reasons, big reasons, like wind shear. I'm sure that the temperature and just global steering currents, but I think that there's something that they're leaving out. Okay, nobody has talked about this. This right here is a South Atlantic anomaly. We've spoke about this on my channel before, but we haven't tied it into this. Now, I'm not sure that this is actually having an effect on what's going on here, but I have a hard time thinking that it doesn't have at least a little bit of an effect. Okay, now what the South Atlantic anomaly is, you guys can read it right there. I guess I can just read it for you. South Atlantic anomaly is an area where the Earth's inner Van Allen belt, radiation belt, comes closest to the Earth's surface, dipping down to the altitude of 200 kilometers. Okay, now we talk about the Van Allen belts when we talk about going to space, because that's the radiation belts that they are so afraid of that they have to use basically gold leaf and gold foil to reflect the radiation from all these spacecrafts and astronauts, so they don't basically burn up or get cancer and die. I mean, that's pretty much what that means. But it says this leads to an increased flux of energetic particles in the region. Okay, and this is where I start kind of tying this in a little bit, maybe. And exposes orbiting satellites to higher than usual levels of radiation. Okay, so what causes this? Why is it right here, just in this spot? Okay, that's the next question. It's right here. Now, this is probably an exaggerated view because all these different models are showing different levels of radiation, magnetism, and such. Okay, now I'm just showing, these are just generic pictures again that I've pulled off the internet. So, okay, so what is causing this South Atlantic anomaly? Well, they don't really have a whole lot of answers for it, but the main answer that they try to say is that our core, okay, because you guys know this is what ties into our research here, our core generates our magnetic field. Okay, so if our core is having issues, basically what they're thinking is that the magnetism here isn't the same as it is the rest of the globe. Basically, they're saying that this has its own pole. Okay, those are some of the articles I've read. Now, does this have anything to do with why the steering currents are the way they are there? Or does this have anything to do with why weather systems can't form here or shouldn't? Okay, and then the next question is, guys, well, now there are weather systems forming. Okay, so what's changed? Something changed. Okay, we've been talking about this pole reversal and all this, magnetic north and all those types of conversations. Is this part of it, guys? I don't know. I'm just saying this is just an observation that I've made that nobody's talked about. This is the exact location of the South Atlantic anomaly, where we know that the Van Allen belts are closest to the Earth here, and we also know that the magnetism's jacked up in this area. Okay, we know that. We can physically measure it. So the last time that they had a storm, and this was huge news, was back in 2004, where you could actually, now is this going to be a big storm? No, it's not, because the wind shear is going to come off. It's going to rip this thing apart. At least that's what their models are showing. Okay, but the fact is that something did form here, and then what allowed it to do so? We know rare things can happen in weather sometimes, but if this is something that really shouldn't ever even be possible, and then we have it twice in a span of, 15 years? I mean, I really think that this needs looked at, because it was in the exact same spot, guys. If you go back and look at the 2004, I should have took a picture of that and showed it to you guys, but you guys can do it. Just go to 2004, South Atlantic cyclone hit Brazil. You guys will find it. It's real easy to find. It's not hard information to find. But yeah, so, you know, is that something that we need to be talking about? Something we need to be researching? I happen to think that it is. Okay? I mean, that's just my opinion. I will be researching that out some more. I'm going to talk to some of my guys here on what we do here on the YouTube channels and stuff like that. Some of the smarter people than I am, way smarter than me, and have been around this game a whole lot longer. But anyway, on to the next subject here. Like I said, I had a lot here, guys. Okay? Now, you guys know I've been showing you this thing on HI-1. Okay? This is Sechi, and I'm going to take you guys over to Sechi here in just a second. But this is HI-1. You guys see this in the middle here. Okay, that shouldn't look like that. This shouldn't. Okay? There's HI-2. Now, what I want you guys to pay attention to here is, you see it how it's cut out like this? Okay, it's dark, and then it gets lighter around the edges, even past here. If that was sun rays, that sun rays would just keep on going. Something's blocking that energy right there. Okay? That's the whole point of showing you guys this. Alright? That's HI-2. Now, the data's coming from the same satellite, but these are two different tools. Okay? And you can even see a slight, basically the same kind of shape of what's going on here. Now, what's causing that shape, don't know. You know, I did a video a few back here. I'll take you and show you a couple pics. But this is the HI-1 also. Alright, I talked about this. Alright, this is just the other day. This is when that blew off of the sun, that CME. And I showed you guys that there's separation here. Okay? So there's something there, and it doesn't move. And now it's moving, but it's moving very, very slow. You can see it move if you watch multiple days. But it's not something that blew off of the sun, is what I'm trying to say. This is not part of any CME. This is something that's there. Because you can see the energy react to it. And I'm going to take you guys to that video here in just a second. Here's the other picture of it. Okay. Again, I showed you guys this the other day, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. But, you know, there it is. Okay. Something else I want to bring up real quick while I'm thinking about it. See this right here? I have never seen a signature like this. Okay? Yeah, get your mind out of the gutter, guys. But I've never seen that. Ever. Okay? And that was on the southern hemisphere. You know, I don't know what that means, if it means anything. But this capture right here was the last capture that this tool is showing. Hasn't updated in, you know, over a day. So something happened here. And that's the SWMF tool, and I'll take you guys over to it real quick and show you. But I think I will. Well, let's go here real quick. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. Like, do you guys remember? Let's see if I got a screenshot of it. Sorry, you guys are getting to see all my pics here. Yeah, it's not here. I don't think it is anyway. Anyway, you guys remember the picture Scott showed me of the, well, let's do this. I know exactly where it's at. It is, well, I kind of did this, okay? This is the pic Scott sent me, right here, okay? How is that possible, guys? The sun is supposedly right here. First off, why is the sun square? Why is it darker here than it is below it? And why this grid pattern? Okay, and I'll go more into that. I mean, I put this on a filter, and look what shows up. Okay, again, and it stayed dark here too. Look at that. All right. Now what I'm talking about here, guys, is look at this. This is square. Well, our sun ain't square, guys. Sorry. At least that's not what I believe. Then he gets this other pic. Look at this. Well, actually, this is the one I got sent to me. I sent this over to Scott. Look. I mean, grid pattern again. And it's funny that the sun is right smack dab in the middle of one of them. Can't tell me that's not intentional, guys. Looks like a freaking tic-tac-toe board. You know? Hey, look. I just won. Maybe that's what's going on. Real sun? Sun simulator? Sun simulator? I don't know. Just making a joke. But, yeah. Okay. And then I get this right here. Okay, I'm going to take you back over here to my pics real quick because I am doing it this way. Okay. Now, this was 322. This is the same tool, guys. Okay, this is the SDO 335 angstrom, 2017. Look. Okay. Nothing back here. Nothing. All right. Keep that in mind. 2019, exactly 2 years later. What? What's that? Yeah. Look at that. I mean, it's funny that all these grid patterns are showing up and they're blue. What's up with that? Is that something up there that they're using for light, and that's the light spectrum that they're using, and that's how they're able to hide it from us? And for whatever reason, this particular tool's picking it up. Plus, sometimes when we get captures of it with our cameras, is that what's going on? I don't know. But it's definitely not there in 2017. And then it's there in 2019. And then, like I said, you go back to those pictures that I just showed you. And then, guess what? Scott gets one of these. He sent this over to me. I mean, what? Look at this. I mean, serious? And I honestly haven't put this on a filter or anything yet, but I bet if I did, I bet there's a grid around. Oh, look at that. I can almost see it now. I mean, it's pixelated a little bit, but you could kind of see almost a grid now. Just looking at it like natural. I mean, look at that. I mean, come on. So I don't, this makes me question, guys. I mean, honestly. So I'm going to take you guys over here real quick to the SWMF and see if it updated. Did it update? No, it did not. Last update, 325. Okay, at 2000 hours, which is what? Makes it 8 o'clock UTC. Okay, and here's that signature. Alright, I mean, that's just odd to me. Guys, this is the 27th now. This is longer than a day. What I will point out, something that I noticed, this right here, this dotted line, is where the satellites orbit the Earth. There's absolutely no reason for these satellites to screw up. There's no pressure there. Okay? Normally when we see this stuff, sometimes these pressures, the reds and the yellows, get up into these satellites. And most of the time when that happens, they're back here because we get that reverse pressure. Okay? So, I mean, what's causing these satellites to give us funky readings and then go down? Okay, that's the reading it gave us, and then boom, nothing. Gone. We can't even see the next image. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to take you guys over here. I want to take you to, this is, like I said, this is the Sechi site, guys. I know I'm flipping through this kind of fast. I normally would show you what I'm doing here as far as, but I don't want this video to go much longer. Anyway, this is 03/20. We're going to go back to that, the day of the CME. Okay, there it went. See that? Okay, now I'm going to take you to the red version. And this is where it got funky. Okay, and this is why I showed you. This is where I seen this anomaly already before, but this, you can see it react And I'm going to slow it down because we can see it better. That's on 2. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, what are we looking at? Right here. Okay. Now watch this CME. See it come? It's getting ready to come off. There it goes. It's blowing. Watch it go. You see it reach out right there? And we'll watch it again. You see it keep going back to it? And then it lit it up. And then it was going on out into space. Okay, so when it does that again, I'm going to try and pause it. Let's just step it right there, see what happens. Okay, now let me back it up. Sorry I'm jumping around here a little bit. I really hadn't planned on showing you guys this, but okay, now this is what I want to show you. Look at this. Here's the object. All right, this thing reached right out to it. All right, now let me go forward while I'm reversing. See that? All right, now I'm going to slow it down even slower, and I'm just going to hit forward, and we're going to go, we're going to push play. See that? And then it goes on. Watch it reach out again. See it? There's no reason for it to go that direction, guys. Something reacted there. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now, you know, I'm going to speed it up so you guys can kind of see it a little faster. See that? And it goes on off into space. So, yeah. And again, guys, I showed you guys the objects there. We'll go to today real quick. It's there again today. Well, this is back on the 24th because this is the latest, earliest they let us see. It's the most recent they'll let us see. Again, it's still there. It's not in the exact same position, but it's moved some. You guys can see it. It's right there. This should not be here. Okay, we watched it all the way across the screen. It started over here. Now it's over here. What is it? Anybody got any ideas? Let me know. But man, I don't know what that is. Okay. And again, I took you guys, let's go over here to the COR2. Let's look at, again, this is today, well, the 24th, I'm sorry. This is the most recent on the COR2. Okay, here's that thing. It's still there. Now, I want you guys to watch the energy go over top of it. Okay, then it'll reappear. Is it doing it? Well, it's not really that good of an image here because nothing's really going on. But you can see it kind of fading on and off. Now, let me go back to yesterday. Well, the 23rd. Again, screwing that up. But, yeah. Let's check it out real quick like. Okay, so you watch this. See that? See how it covered that bottom part up, but it came back? Watch. You got stuff going by it. It's not like it's not like the energy is actually moving or making this shape and then going on out into space. Something's going around something here. Okay? I don't know what that is. I thought this was pretty cool too. Look at Venus. That's how bright it gets, guys, from different perspectives. But yeah. Again, you know, it is what it is. You know, not a whole lot more to talk about there, but I'm going to keep watching it. And again, it showed up on the HI-1 and the COR2. I'll take you guys over to Alaska real quick and show you the most recent CME that popped off. This just happened, guys, not just a few hours ago. Okay. This is Alaska C2. You'll be able to see it once it pops off here. It'll show you. Happened around, I think, 11 or 1200 UTC. See that? Now, it's not a very big one, okay? I guess I kind of would classify that as a solar, I guess a solar flare. But see how fast it's moving? That's something I did notice, that it only takes it 2 hours to go from here to off the screen. Okay? That's faster than normal. I can tell you that, because sometimes when we see CMEs, they'll start here and they'll move real slow. Okay? And other times they'll do what that one's doing. Boom, right on off. Don't take no time at all. But yeah, so that one there, wherever it's heading, I don't think it's Earth facing, so I don't think we got much to worry about there. But yeah, that is what it is. Now, I want to mention a couple things here, guys. I'll let you guys, let's just take you to a good, well, let's just go back to this one. Let's do that. Let you guys watch this one for a while. But, okay, I want to go into this just a little bit, okay? I want to make sure everybody knows that, I don't do my channel around any sort of religious beliefs, but I do have strong religious beliefs, guys. Okay, I'm a Christian. I don't push it on anybody, but I don't and absolutely will not deny it. There's a couple channels out there that I watch that I if you guys even looking at my intro, it says, I say at the end of my video, Yeshua saves. That's my savior. Okay? You guys have questions about that, you're more than welcome to ask me. I'll try to lead you guys in the right direction that I see that I do. Okay? I'm not going to push it on you guys. You guys know I don't talk about that a whole lot here. But I want you guys to know that that is forefront in my life. Okay? I have to make that clear. That is what I believe, and that's what I do. That's how I live my life. And I bring you guys this research, and I don't judge others. You guys are, I love all of you. I really do. It's anything else than that. But I have a few channels that I go to that when I have questions about stuff like that. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys those channels real quick. Because I think at least for me, it's important. There may be people out there that might get something from this and might want to go sub up to their channels. Because these channels, they actually do call-in shows. They do live streams, hangouts, all those kinds of things. And they answer questions in real time. Okay, you can put questions in the chat, stuff like that. One of the channels I go to, probably the most frequent one I go to, is his name is Jerry. He runs a channel called The Light of Truth. I've talked about him before. I will leave a link. He does a great job teaching things straight from the Word. And he also, he goes a little bit further than that and teaches some extra biblical stuff, which I believe. That's my personal belief. That's just, like I said, that's me. But if you have questions on any of that, you can ask me, or I would suggest you go to his channel, because he's a lot smarter on that than I am. And then there's a guy that, his name is Hilly Billy, and I know it kind of sounds weird, but he does a show, I believe it's on Saturdays. It's a live show too. You can get on there, you type in your questions. It's really good information. He's definitely sound on what he teaches. But yeah, and then there's another guy, if you guys want to get into like text and the Hebraic stuff that plays into Christianity and where a lot of their origination, he's done a lot of studies on this. His name is Matty, and he runs a channel called End Time Watchman. Like I said, I'll leave a link for this, guys, and I'm not going to talk about this much longer. And again, I don't put this out there because I don't want to push my beliefs off onto somebody. But I do want to know that what I do believe, and if they have questions about that, they can come to me and I can point you guys in the right direction to get answers. So don't be afraid to ask me that. And again, I'm not going to put this out there on my videos all the time, but you will see it at the beginning of my videos, and I will say it at the end because it's important to me. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then you got Planet X News, Scott. He's trying out a different platform. I'll leave a link over to his new platform, and we'll go with that. But he's trying to switch on and off what we're doing here on YouTube because of all the drama that always happens and all the stuff that's going on. You can get rid of all of that by just going over to that one, and you can check it out, and I'll leave a link. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. So if you guys got any questions on any of this, just email me, kLdman@aol.com. I'll leave a link to that. Send me pics, whatever you guys want to do. Again, if you got questions on any of the stuff that I talked about, on that spiritual part there at the end, hit me up and I'll point you in the right direction. If I don't have the answers, I'll try to find them or find somebody that does. And if you have pictures or anything about, what we research here, please, send it to my email. Ask me questions. If you notice something, hey, check this out. I do check stuff out, guys. I do try to go through my emails. I'm not able to respond to all of them very fast anymore because I do get a lot. But I am trying to get through them. So do keep that in mind, and God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.